tsinda burundu akarengane na ruswa. U Rwanda ruzira ruswa n'akarengane mu cyerekezo 2050. Radio Imanzi 105.1 FM. Munyarwanda, isuku ni isoko y'ubuzima. Zirikana ko isuku kubagize umuryango wawe ari inshingano zawe. Isuku kuri buri munyarwanda, igihugu kizira indwara. Radio Imanzi 105.1 FM. Gusesagura n'ubupfapfa. Zirikana ko iyo mbimenya ari ijambo ribi, maze ukoreshe neza imari yawe. Radio Imanzi 105.1 FM.
We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
You are tuned to Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. The International Standard Organization, ISO, is looking at how there can be a global convergence of quality standards, especially ones related to the circular economy. The National Agricultural Export Development Board, NAEB, has announced that Rwanda generated over 4 billion Rwandan francs from coffee exports last week. A Tanzanian climate entrepreneur was recently named among 17 young leaders whose efforts are catalyzing the achievement of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Welcome back. News in detail. The International Standard Organization, ISO, is looking at how there can be a global convergence of quality standards, especially ones related to the circular economy. Representatives of member countries from member countries are meeting in Kigali for a conference which is studying how such changes can be implemented without negatively affecting developing nations. On the first day, 40 countries from the African continent and other developing countries were the first to meet and share ideas on the broad lines that will be taken to establish those quality standards. Those are the deliberations that aim to promote circular economy, which is characterized by leasing, tracking and sharing industry products that can be renewed, expanded or repaired. Catherine Chavosh, the head of the technical group of the establishment of basic quality standards at the International Organizations of Standardization, points out that these discussions aim to harmonize quality standards used worldwide with the nature of the industry production and population needs.
Our objectives are to define what circular economy is, the principles of circular economy, how you share value, how you retain value along the value chain, to be able to better repair products, to be able to better recycle products and avoid generation of waste, for instance. We also write standards regarding how to push circular economy in our businesses, to respect climate change, to respect biodiversity losses, and to propose an alternative economic system to the current one. Okay, it's a great pleasure to be here in Rwanda, especially in Rwanda and in Africa. But in Rwanda, because we know that in this country we have a good feeling about circular economy, and what I expect from this week is that all the countries we have there, we will be around 60 countries, to be able to share together about circular economy and to propose to improve the drafts we already have, to be able to publish the standard by beginning of 2024. We know that circular economy could be an alternative to our current economic system. Why? Because we are all in the same planet, we have some finite resources, and we are using these resources but depending the countries. For instance, Western countries and North America countries use a lot of resources, whereas some other countries, especially in Africa, are not able to use the resources, or the resources are in their country, but the resources are used by other countries. So with the circular economy, we would like to push to rebalance this kind of use of resources, and to be able to push to renewable resources, not to virgin resources, and to be able to design our product and our service in a different way.
The Director General of the Rwanda Standards Board, Murenzi Raymond, noted that this meeting will also focus on the opinions of the representatives of African countries and other developing countries so that they will not be affected by those regulations. The conference, being hosted by Rwanda, brought together representatives of 85 countries across the world, and it is evaluating projects related to quality standards and promoting circular economy. The Non-Governmental Organizations Forum in HIV and AIDS and Health Promotion in Rwanda has launched an initiative to fight malaria in schools, where teachers will be trained to treat students. The initiative will be rolled out on a collaboration between students, teachers, education institutions, as well as actors from the health sector and non-governmental organizations, among others. It will be done in such a way that the teachers themselves will be trained to treat malaria patients without the support of community health workers. The program is expected to reduce the severity and number of malaria cases in schools. Malaria is currently an issue of global concern, with 240 million cases and 600,000 deaths registered in the past year. Of these, the disease killed from 70,000 to 110,000 children aged between 5 and 14. In Rwanda, the disease still exists and kills many people. Statistics from RBC show that 998,874 people caught the disease in the year 2021-2022, which also claimed lives of 71. From July up to date, 109,000 are reported to have caught the disease, with the most vulnerable groups being students, fishermen, and prisoners, among others. According to a study conducted by an organization dubbed Universal Health in Education, in 15 schools in Kayonza district, on 63,274 students indicated that 39,874 of them had fever, while 19,431 tested positive for malaria out of 38,502 tests. This led to the idea to introduce programs creating the room for training of teachers and students about this disease so that they can treat colleagues like community health workers do. Hassan Habimana, the legal representative of Universal Health in Education, said training teachers to assist students within school premises instead of spending long time to get treatment was given high priority. Actors in health sector have announced that more than 350 billion Rwandan francs are needed to reduce 25% of deaths that occur because of non-communicable diseases by 2025. Non-communicable diseases such as respiratory, heart diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, and others account for approximately 30% of all deaths in Rwanda. Deambaje Edias is a kidney patient who has formed an association, and Philippa Chibugu, a breast cancer survivor, and who are campaigning against these diseases.
Rwanda is a dream country. In 28 years, we did not have the resources that are necessary for, say, for instance, we didn't have the Rwanda Cancer Center. I get biased because this is what I focus on, but it is doing, it's everything. They have educated, we have more skilled manpower, and others are also going. We have interest in having a strong country based on better health. You can't be strong without strong health. So a lot is being invested in health and awareness.
I participate in these physical activities. They will help me to reduce because I have the problem of high blood pressure. So when I participate in those physical activities, at least it maintains my the high blood pressure is maintained at normal level. But when I don't participate, that's when there is a high blood pressure.
According to Dr. Evariste Ntaganda, who is in charge of NCDs at Rwanda Biomedical Center, says statistics show that in Rwanda, diabetes has reached 2.9%, blood pressure has reached 16.8%, heart disease has reached 3.2%, and respiratory diseases, which are caused mainly by smoking, have reached 7%. He says that those diseases can be treated for free because of the medical services are close to the people.
We have now done decentralization of NCDs, depending on the severity of disease, of course. You are not going to, if you can treat hypertension in health center and diabetes, you are not going to treat like cancer of advanced stage in the same facility. So they didn't go to other levels like provincial hospital or teaching hospitals, or even like King Faisal. You have seen people who come for open heart surgery. The service is still growing. We need more efforts to be put in because we have so many people, a long list of people need surgery. So, but at least there is a trend that we are taking in terms of fighting non-communicable diseases.
For a 5-year term from 2020-2025, Rwanda is said to need over 250 billion Rwandan francs to reduce the number of deaths caused by those diseases by 25%. Professor Joseph Muchumbitsi, Chief Consultant, Pediatrician and Cardiologist and Director of the 26 organization that monitors the problem of patients with non-communicable diseases, says that Rwanda was rewarded by the United Nations in its 77th General Assembly.
We are ready to continue to work with the government and the RBC and CD division to continue working for the implementation of this national strategy, which has the targets, which has an ambitious target of reducing by 25% the number of deaths due to NCDs at the horizon 2025. It is an ambitious target, but with a high-level coordination committee for NCDs, with a technical working group for NCDs supporting it, and with the involvement of the private and public sector, we think it can be done. And we are ready to play our role at the civil society, representing people living with NCDs, so that it becomes a reality.
Smoking, poor diet, heavy drinking, lack of exercise, and air pollution are some of the causes of non-communicable diseases. More than 17 million people worldwide die from those diseases each year, despite the fact that the world aims to reduce the number of those deaths by 50% by 2030 and needs more than $8 trillion every year. The National Agriculture Export Development Board has announced that Rwanda generated over 4 billion Rwandan francs from coffee exports last week. The board shows that the money was generated from 702 tons, where a kilogram of Rwanda's coffee stood at $5.8 at the international market. The main destinations of Rwanda's coffee last week include the United Kingdom, Sweden, and Germany. Meanwhile, the country exported 304.1 tons of tea, which generated $869,197. The main destinations were Pakistan, Egypt, Kazakhstan, and the United Kingdom. The country also exported 229.2 tons of flowers, fruits and vegetables, on about $535,857 in total. The major markets for these products include the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Other agriculture exports include animal products, which generated $194,409, cereals, grains, and flour, $1,760,732, roots and tubers, other products whose main destinations were DRC, Qatar, and Ethiopia.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi.
Rwanda and Mauritius are among African economies that are said to witness the strongest growth of their respective stock of private wealth, as the continent forecast a 38% jump to reach near $3 trillion over the next 10 years. The outlook is contained in this year's Africa Wealth Report 2022 by Henley and Partners, an international investment advisory firm. According to the report, smaller, better organized economies in Africa are fast turning into wealth hubs, home to more and more of the continent's dollar millionaires, thanks to their growing exchequer hygiene. The total private wealth on the continent currently stands at $2.1 trillion, majority of which is owned by the big fives, including South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria, Morocco, as well as Kenya. The report reads that Africa is home to some of the world's fastest growing markets, including Rwanda, Uganda, and Mauritius. It forecasted private wealth growth of over 60% in all these countries in the next decade, driven by especially strong performance in the technology and professional services sectors. Other states expected to record significant jumps in private wealth include Ethiopia, Kenya, Ghana, Tanzania, Ivory Coast, Mozambique, and Morocco. Meanwhile, South Africa will still dominate the continent in wealth, thanks in part of the country's two wealthiest cities on the continent. The report also highlighted that African investors are showing a preference for real estate-linked investment migration programs as an advantage against the unrelenting currency market and political volatility. The Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 134,130,000 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in two deals on the fixed income market and 1,272,900 Rwandan francs from 8,000 shares traded in three deals on the equities market. M10 Rwanda closed the counter at 176 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 1,242,800 Rwandan francs from 7,300 shares traded in two deals. I&M Bank closed the counter at 43 francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 30,100 Rwandan francs from 700 shares traded in one deal. The rest of the equities counters closed with Bralirwa at 170 Rwandan francs, Bank of Kigali at 272 Rwandan francs, Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs, Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs, National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uchumi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs, and R8 Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.5 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 8.7 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.44 and the selling price was 0.45. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.26 and the selling price was 0.27. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49 and the selling price was 0.5. The US dollar buying price was 1,030 and the selling price was 1,050. The British pound buying price was 1,086 and the selling price was 1,107. The euro buying price was 992 and the selling price was 1,111.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
A Tanzanian climate entrepreneur was recently named among 17 young leaders whose efforts are catalyzing the achievement of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. The 27-year-old Mr. Gibson Kiwago is the founder of the Wanted Garage, WAGA, which aims to reuse laptop batteries and provide affordable, reliable and durable lithium-ion battery solutions. The company produces solar lamps, power banks and many power walls to help rural dwellers access off-grid clean and affordable energy for lighting and power solutions, and urban dwellers access electricity during power cuts. Using lithium-ion batteries from laptops to make other products for domestic use and replacing energy sources that use hydrocarbon makes his technology clean and affordable. Lithium is among the critical minerals or essential mineral material that is essential in the realization of the UN goal to ensure zero emissions by 2050 due to the global shift from fossil fuels. Libya's Court of Appeal held the fifth session of the trial. 46 men accused of belonging to terrorist organization, the Islamic State. Among the accused are Libyan, Tunisian, Egyptian, Algerian, Moroccan, Jordanian and Sudanese nationals. They are accused of being members of a terrorist group and of carrying out killings. During the session, which was attended by families of the IS victims, the judge listened to eyewitnesses' statements. The Islamic State organization took advantage of the turmoil following the murder of Muammar Gaddafi to set up a base in Libya in 2014. The following year, the terrorist group captured the coastal city of Sirte. It is eventually in 2016 that it was ousted of the city after losing heavy fighting with national forces. The families of the victims have appealed for the harshest punishments possible, including death penalty. According to judicial sources, a total of 320 suspects are facing trial. Uganda's Ministry of Health has reported 36 Ebola virus disease case patients in Mubende and Chegegwa districts, 18 confirmed, 18 suspected, and 23 cumulative deaths, 4 confirmed, 19 probable. About 399 contact cases have been identified and 104 under follow-up. Mubende Hospital, located some 150 kilometers from the capital Kampala, is hosting the main isolation center for Ebola patients as the outbreak continues to spread in the central region. A gunman has opened fire in a school in central Russia, killing 15 people and wounding 24 others before shooting himself dead, according to authorities. Russia's investigative committee identified the gunman as a 35-year-old graduate of the same school and said he was wearing a black t-shirt bearing Nazi symbols. The governor of the Udmurtia province, where it happened, Alexander Bichlov, said the gunman was registered as a patient at a psychiatric facility. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.